Hello, and welcome back to Cozy with Chelsea. I am Chelsea, your host. Today on the podcast, we have Loren Cellentani. Loren is a sacred visibility mentor, priestess, and host of the top 2% global podcast, The Sovereign Self Show. She guides spirit led women to stop performing success and start embodying it, turning fear, freeze, and self doubt into magnetic visibility and authentic leadership. Through somatic wisdom, storytelling, and energetic alchemy, Lauren helps women reclaim their voice, their body, and their brilliance so they can lead with purpose, pleasure, and prosperity. I love that. Her message is simple and potent. Your body isn't the block, she's the portal. Welcome to the podcast, Lauren.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Chelsea, for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, I am very excited to have you on the show, and I'm very excited to talk about what we're going to talk about. So, I wonder if we can start, maybe if you can just explain, obviously I went through what you do, right? You help women who are wanting to start something and working through all of those wounds that can come up, right? So, tell me from your own words what you do.
Well, basically, everything's a healing journey, everything's a growth experience, a spiritual awakening, so to speak. And what I find with myself and so many other empathic women is we go through this healing journey and we want to give back because as humans, I feel like that's just the natural state. It's like once you learned something or grown for yourself, you want to give that wisdom. You want to give back to humanity or animals, the earth, whatever. I think naturally we all have beautiful, caring hearts. And when we feel fulfilled, we want to give back. And then you start the thing, you start the podcast, the business, the Instagram, whatever. And you're like, oh, this is a whole new spiritual journey. And all the wounds that you thought you had healed, a lot. I see a lot of old physical symptoms come up for people that are like, what the heck is up with this? I thought I healed this. But also just, these visibility wounds. Some people might call them imposter syndrome or witch wounds. It's just different belief systems that have been there, but we get to using the lens of business, of your purpose, of your passion, from that perspective, start to heal, start to work through those energies, those beliefs. And my journey has been so much through the body, which is more of naturally feminine approach. But, I started out health coaching a decade ago. And obviously, I'm not doing that anymore, but it's so body led because I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or tell you need to do XYZ strategy. What I do is I help empower you to learn to listen to your own body in the way that you get to transmute all of these emotions, all of these fears, the visibility blocks that are keeping you from the success, the dream clients, the podcast downloads. They're all right there searching for you. But what I get to help you learn is how to work and become that master alchemist. What does that mean? It means being able to feel your energy without continuing the triggers, using that for fuel to create content, to remember your purpose, to continue to show up. Because, yes, it's great to feel things, it's great to meditate, it's great to, do all the energetic work, but without taking the actions, like without recording this podcast right now, those manifestations wouldn't come. So, to summarize everything that I really do is get out ahead of everything, be able to work through those blocks, those fears that are coming up around building your business, being visible. And then also, before you do the thing, before you hit record, before you go on a coaching call, sales call, whatever you're doing that day for work, sending emails, check in with yourself. Use whatever energy is coming up right now to be able to get into your own turn on, to the own pleasure state, because I see so many women, we're stuck in that lack mentality of that girl boss trying to prove that we're worthy, doing all the things, yet we're not getting the results that we want. So to really summarize everything, that's the work that we get to do.
Mhm. I think that's so interesting, and I can relate to it, of course, because I've gone through that myself as well. And it's one thing, like you said, especially women who are running a business or they want to give back, right? So there's so much wonderful intention behind what they're doing. But then once you start doing it, you're like, okay, I have to put myself out there. And there's so much noise, right? Like when I was first starting, and even just if we're just talking about posting content, right, on social media, and it's like, okay, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to not do this, and you and then you're trying to like navigate all of this advice and then also listen to yourself, right? So I really relate to that a lot, and I can understand the value in the work that you do. So, like, what does your work look like with someone who, I guess we could start with that fear of being seen. And I think that kind of ties into imposter syndrome too, right? I'm sure they go together.
I mean, they all flow and go
Yeah.
together. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the visibility, I think, is kind of the culmination of a bunch of things. And the fear of being seen for me really ties into like the witch wound. Whether
Hmm.
you think you had a past life as a witch, I'm sure a lot of you listening might feel that way. What I find is we feel like we're scared of that ridicule, of being seen, the hater, your friends from high school on Facebook that you don't talk to, seeing what you do. It's like whatever is coming up for you in those moments that are like literally excuses for you to stay where you are. It's,
Hmm.
the concept of our ego or our mind is literally like a barking dog. It's just warning us, hey, the mailman's here. And then when the mailman leaves, the dog stops barking. But what we do is we feel the fear, we feel that thought come up, and then a lot of the times we double down on that. We perpetuate that. We stop showing up. We might ghost Instagram for half the year. I see this time and time again because of the fears, the what ifs. So when we can really take a look at, okay, what's happening? Our ego, our minds, whatever this belief system is really here to keep us where we are energetically, where we are successfully right now. And because I'm having those visibility blocks, those fears, the witch wounds, whatever you want to call it, that's showing me that I actually am growing. That's showing me that I'm pushing up on that glass ceiling. So the work that we do is really like I said, get back to the body. You know, being able to have a conversation with yourself. Yes, meditating is so key, but to go into your body, where does this energy live? What is the actual feeling? Because so many times we have all these stories around what's coming up, but when we can get to the core emotion without, he said this happened to me then, it's always like you can let go of that and you can actually listen to what your body has to say. It's really attuned to inner child work, because that energy is literally somatically stored in our body. And 99% of the time, it's like, I remember this from childhood, feeling this way, feeling frustrated or having to prove my worth or not being seen. And you really can do this deep somatic work for anything in your life. I just love using this visibility and business as this avenue, as this path to do this deep work, to be able to, like I said again, alchemize this energy. And you'll hear me say that a time and time again, because emotions themselves is literally, if you look at the etymology of it, energy, motion, and motion. So when we actually can be present with ourselves, it's not complicated, it's very simple. And we want to overcomplicate it, right? Just like we want to overcomplicate strategies for business and this template and this email sequence and all of that. But we can just come back to being present and how we're feeling. And we can actually use that as fuel to create content, to solidify our own beliefs and who we are, what we're doing, what we stand for. And what I find is a lot of the time these visibility blocks are because you just don't have that deep, solidified clarity on who you are, what you do, basically your why. So these are really helping you at a deep level solidify that. So anytime you have a trigger around posting or visibility, thank it, because it's there showing you what needs to be shifted, what needs to be healed in order to let that success, to let that next level in. That's there literally waiting for you. Like your clients, your dream clients are there like searching for you, but you're tuned into 97 FM and they're looking for you at like 120 FM radio. I don't know if anybody remembers
Mhm.
radio stations nowadays, but you're just tuning into a different frequency. So these triggers, these visibility blocks, so to speak, are helping you shift and clarify that path for you.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about alchemizing the emotions into moving forward, right? Like I was actually going to record a podcast on this because I think the emotions are telling you something, right? So it's like, okay, how do we listen to them? And like you said, actually feel them. What are they teaching us? And then how are we going to use this? So can you talk more about that piece, right? Because I hear you say use it as fuel to create
Mm-hmm.
content. What does that process look like?
Mm. Like I said, it could look different for everybody. For me, and what
Yeah.
I teach people to do is some type of a somatic practice. So the 3 steps I do, which I help teach people, because you can really make it your own, and you can take this away from this episode, is first activate. So a lot of times, if you feel anxious or even depressed or scared, we kind of got to shake up that energy. So somehow shake up the energy through breath work, through somatic movement, just jumping. Like that's what I like doing first thing in the morning is putting on my Spotify playlist, just jump for a minute. Not only is it good energetically, lymphatic wise, if you have a rebounder, even better. Um, but just really shake up the energy, because what that does is it shakes things up, but it gets you out of your head. It
Hmm.
literally shifts you into more of a trance state, which is, you're shifting your brainwave state from the stress, the fight or flight response into your body. Because when we can actually be present, um, I'm just thinking like runner's high, post yoga bliss. Everybody listening is experiencing that. You're just like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. Might have taken me a little bit to get there. There's always that hump to get over, that crankiness, the stiffness. But that first step of activating, we're really shaking things up, but becoming present in our bodies. And then that next step, alchemizing. So that's what you were just asking about. Okay, well, how do we
Hmm.
actually do that? Well, for me, what I teach is, where does that energy that's present for you, that trigger, where is that in your body? And don't second guess it. If it's in your pinky, go to your pinky. If it's in your heart, go there. Don't just trust that whatever you're being guided to, go there. And then from that energy, start to move your body, start to dance. Like allow it to express itself. And like again, it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to think about doing it. This is the practice of being able to do these rituals without using the monkey mind. And you're just kind of surrendering, letting the energy speak through you. And then from that point, after you feel that energy start to move, I'm simplifying this, really listening, allowing, and whether it is just sitting there or meditating. But I find for myself and for so many driven, recovering perfectionists, but very empathetic light worker women, we're so driven and we're like, we have to do it all of ourselves. In reality, we got the best business partner out there, God, the universe, our higher self, whatever you want to freaking call it. And we're trying to do it our like little selves. And so this allowing, we activate, we alchemize this energy, and then we're still and we get to listen. And I tune this to when you're in the shower and you've been trying to remember something, or trying to think of an idea, and then all of a sudden it just pops into your head because you're not thinking about it, you're not trying to solve it. So yeah, we really want to overcomplicate it. I said the 3-part system just so we can start to visualize and understand it, the activate, alchemize, and allow, but it really just comes back to our emotional guidance system. A lot of what Abraham Hicks talks about is, how do you actually feel? Are you anxious and angry and frustrated? That's that's probably focusing on the problem. Are you excited, hopeful, happy, or even just like a neutral kind of calm and content? That's how you know you focus on the solution. So, to summarize everything, it really just comes back to how you feel. It's literally what our emotions are. They're our GPS to everything we want, to our higher selves, to that co creation with God and with the universe.
I think that's great. I think that's something everyone can apply. And you can apply that really, I'm thinking even beyond, content
Oh my
creation,
gosh.
right? It's if there any problem, you can kind of switch your focus from the problem to the solution and alchemize that. I think that's beautiful because it's like, okay, you can alchemize these emotions into creating, but then what does that actually look
Yeah.
like? Like, how are we applying that new emotion, the solution focused, into actual creation?
Yeah. So, 9 times out of 10, if not all the time, when you go through that process, you're going to have an inspired idea. Whatever energy is coming up, whatever trigger is there for you, whether it's your relationship, a hater online. Um, for me, last month, I was just getting horrible acne all the time. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be seen. Like whatever it is, it's really there teaching you. There's this lesson underneath it. So when you apply those 3 steps, really you start to shift your perspective and seeing that whatever's coming up for you is helping you. And I have a bunch of like chat GPT prompts or journal prompts for people to kind of work through that. But most of the time, by the time you just are present with your body and you get to that allowed state, it's like that magical golden egg pops in and you're like, oh, this is why I'm going through this. And a great example is that of
Hmm.
that is like the past few weeks I'm getting all these like rando haters online, like just like comments on, sometimes on Instagram, mostly on YouTube. I'm like, really? Just and it's triggered me a little bit, telling me that I'm just selling things to mentally ill people. It's like, whoa, okay, no one asked for that. And
Hmm.
normally I just say so how to handle all of this is like I usually don't respond, or I'll say thank you for commenting, because that just amplifies this even more. Like, you're helping the algorithm. I know you're hating on me, but like you're actually helping. So thank you. Like, honestly. And I say that after I've worked through whatever's coming up. But, you know, everything like that's an opportunity. So for me, I kind of alchemized it. I dug deep. I know when Chelsea and I spoke last, I was in Lake Tahoe, and that was where I got married 9 years ago. Spoiler alert, I'm since divorced. And it's the first time I've been back there since the destination wedding. And I was like kind of nervous about it. This is when the acne was coming up and all those haters were coming in. And I got to work through all of this and realizing, oh my God, that's how I used to feel in that relationship. And how that was preparing me for now being visible online and dealing with these haters and
Hmm.
not caring what other people think, and actually understanding the fact that I am not for everybody. And I'm not speaking to everybody. I'm speaking to a very specific person. And when you are used to walking on eggshells, being the people pleaser, the codependent empath, that can bleed over into your visibility, into your business, your content creation, because you don't want to ruffle any feathers. You don't want to own maybe your weirdness, your witchiness, whatever it is for you, because there's the visibility wounds, there's the witch wounds. So all of these little random triggers and symptoms to me really were able to solidify, oh my gosh, was actually preparing me for this moment right now. And I wrote a bunch of content around that. So sometimes it's something little, sometimes it's something big where all of these things come in. But when you really get to take a look at your life, what's happening, how you're feeling, it's really easy to see, oh my gosh, this is preparing me for this. And what I love helping women realize it's not about being perfect and showing up online. And like, I remember when I was going through health coaching school, the founder of the school said when he started health coaching years and years and years ago, he still was smoking cigarettes and coaching people on their health. And he's like, he's like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be perfect in order to help people. You know,
Mhm.
obviously a few steps ahead. But what I see so many times, another one of those visibility wounds is I call the initiation wound, where we think that we need more certifications or degrees and all of this stuff in order to help people. But we
Yeah.
really don't. So what I love is helping women feel what's coming up, but realize you can share authentically and not overshare and like trauma dump online because that's not what we're about either. But really,
Yeah.
from this sovereign, alchemized state, the messy middle, how you're dealing with these things. And one of my previous clients, who's like holistic health practitioner, you know, she was dealing with a lot of things. She just moved, and the brand new place they moved into had horrible mold. And she was really anxious about sharing her journey because her health just tanked. And she knew what was happening, but she wasn't like on the up and up yet. And I was like, so what? What's keeping you from sharing that? And we uncovered it was this perfectionist aspect of, well, because I'm not fully healed, how can I share? But it's what your energy speaks louder than the perfection. What your clients are searching for,
Mhm.
your dream clients are searching for, is they want to feel you, feel your energy. And true leadership is who you are being no matter what, no matter what's going on externally or internally. So, giving that example of what came up for me and her, to summarize all of that is okay, you don't have to wait until you're perfectly healed or have $1 million business. I don't have $1 million business by any means, but I'm still helping people show up and be visible and be able to share their purpose and their passion with the world.
I saw the content you posted about the negative, comments that you got on YouTube, and I loved it, first of all. And I think it's interesting because that's the fear, right? With the fear of showing up and the fear of being seen is that someone's not going to like it. So I love everything you say too about how you don't have to be perfect and you're not for everyone. That was something I had to overcome too, because I mean that's what I was scared of, is I'm putting myself out there and people aren't going to like it, right? And I had to accept, well, it's okay if they don't like it. It's it's okay for people to not like it. Um, But it's funny because I've had a few comments, nothing too crazy. I had one where, because I sober, so I sometimes post about that, and that one will get people going for sure. But this guy was like, I posted something about all the benefits sobriety has given me, and he said, "Great, now can you leave the rest of us alone?" Something, something like that. And it's just, I don't know. To me, that one was just funny, where it's like, I don't know why my sober post is showing up for you, but you you don't have to be sober. You don't, I'm not required, I'm not asking you. So it's funny what you get, but I think it's interesting that you can use it as a lesson. And then you even created content out of it. So,
And,
yeah.
just to reiterate what you just said, it's like they're literally, it's like projection 101. It's like you're literally
Hmm.
triggering something in them that they know deep down that maybe, he should drink less or practice some sobriety here. But they comment and want to project that energy. So there's still
Hmm.
like, I guess it's the other side of the coin. When we just talked about transmuting our own emotions to create content. Well, your viewers are in the same boat. And sometimes you're going to get people
Yeah.
who are, looking for the solution or looking for the problem, like you
Hmm.
said. And who knows at a soul level, like this is what I think about. Who knows at a soul level if that didn't just spark something in him and long term goes down this rabbit hole and like becomes a whole new person because of it? Like, who knows?
Hmm.
Who freaking knows? And for me, it's like I think about my own healing journey, and that's why I started my podcast back in 2018, right after post divorce. Like, I was like, all right, hearing's final, let's dive into this. And because of my journey of listening to other podcasts and like how that little spark led me to hear what I needed to hear right at that exact time, it's like God in the universe, the divine behind the scenes is so beautifully orchestrated beyond anything that we can humanly comprehend. Even a comment like that hater, who knows
Hmm.
what ripple effect that that laid out.
That's so true. I thought too when I got that comment that before I quit drinking, I felt like that
Mhm.
person.
Oh yeah.
And because I used to hear people would tell me they're not drinking, and I would be like, okay, loser, a long time ago. So part of me too is like, I understand where he's coming from, and perhaps he's just not quite ready for this. Or maybe he's never ready for it and he's not interested. That's okay.
Yep.
That's fine.
That's okay too.
It's all fine. But it's interesting this like coming online and being yourself, showing up authentically. Yes, it's scary. Yes, there are fears to overcome, there's emotions to move through. But every time I do it, I feel a little bit more confident because it really is a lesson in it's okay to be yourself. And it's okay if not everyone likes you. And I think it's actually a really powerful way to embody that confidence is through posting content, especially if it's work that you're really passionate about. And then it kind of spreads to other areas of my life. So it's absolutely worth it too.
I will say to add one more thing to that, and it's okay to change. Like it's okay to change.
Hmm.
Like I started health coaching and it evolved to anxiety coaching and manifestation, and now this visibility. It's okay to change, and it's okay to like post something that you believe in one day and then the next not. Like I didn't drink coffee for years because I was healing my physical body and I was very sensitive to caffeine and everything. I drink coffee every day now again, okay? But I
Yeah.
used to, it's like, sorry guys, it's like some things little as silly as that. It's okay to change. For me,
Hmm.
that was a huge thing of like understanding whether it's podcast or post, my business, whatever. Like I'm continually growing, so are my clients, but also my beliefs are going to change, and that's okay too. I'm not a fraud because of it. It's
Hmm.
it's like part of evolution and growth.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. I mean, even in the short time I've been doing this, I've changed,
Yeah, that's a
right?
part of it.
Like
That's the
it
point. Like
it's yeah, it's inevitable. Change is inevitable. And you change is also growth
yeah,
too. It's not change isn't bad. You're just moving into something new. I think it's interesting too when you were talking earlier about like forcing it instead of just like allowing yourself to sit. I guess where I'm going with this is when I do post content, I can sometimes have, I wonder if your clients relate to this because I can have so much going on in my head. And what I'll do is I actually have a practice for this, which because you see I see so much stuff where it's like, okay, you need to have a hook, or you need to have a triple hook. You need to be holding a pen while you're saying a hook to the camera, and like, okay, guys, I'm trying. Or you have to like hold the camera and then put it down. There has to be movement at first,
hmm
just like all these things. And so what I'll do is if there's too much noise going on, I just sit down and ask my higher self for guidance and listen.
yeah. If that's the only thing
And then
people,
it comes to
if
me.
anybody just listen to that 30-second clip of what Chelsea just said, that's the whole podcast. That's it. That's it. She's got it.
Yeah. But I use that practice for other things in my life too, right? Not just content creation. If
Yeah.
I can't figure something out, it's like, okay, let's get silent and wait for the answer to arrive instead of trying to force it because
Yeah.
that's not working and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Totally. And that's what I talked about earlier with the activate,
Yeah.
alchemize, and allow. Sometimes you need a little bit extra to kind of shift that energy
Hmm.
if you're really in your head. And then, sometimes you do have to show up. So like that's what I love to talk about, the balance of like what you're talking about, not forcing something, but like this podcast. We both pretty much had, not have to, but we chose to show up for this at this time to record this. So it's like
Yeah.
building the practice of, like you said, every day with content, the quote unquote little things maybe, so that when you have something like a podcast scheduled, you're able to still continue that and really get out ahead of it. Because, it's funny because I help empower people to learn how to do this. But when I started my podcast, this is pre-COVID. Nobody knew what Zoom was. Like, I really had to like help people technology wise back in the day. And I would like beg my friends, like chiropractors and yoga teachers, and to get to come on the show. But once I finally had real people, quote unquote, as guests, oh my God, did my visibility wounds like scream so loud? I had a panic attack before my first interview and I had to cancel last minute. And I was so embarrassed. I was so ashamed. Oh my gosh. And so I get it. I really, really, really get it. And
Hmm.
when we do new things, it's a great opportunity to take the time ahead of time to consistently practice what Chelsea just beautifully talked about, to get quiet, to listen, to allow those little things to bubble up. So it's not before 30 seconds before you hit record and you're like, and all of that energy hits you,
Yeah.
So I love how you described it,
Hmm.
how simple and how that can be the day-to-day things, but also the new things that we might have a little more resistance to that that we want to admit.
Hmm. Yeah, and I also think the something I've been thinking about is the resistance. If I'm feeling it, it's kind of funny, right, to navigate this because you would think resistance means I don't want to do it, but it can actually be an indication that you really want to do it.
Yeah,
You just have to overcome something to get there and grow through it. It's just I've really since building this business and starting this podcast and putting content out there, there was so much resistance I had, and I'm starting to realize now when it comes up, it's actually an indication that I want to do it.
that's huge.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you relate to that or if your clients experience that.
all the time. And also, like, I think tie into that, like, almost that feeling of burnout and resistance because you've just been
Hmm.
pushing and pushing through that resistance and keep doing the things. And then eventually your body and your energy and your mind are like, no thanks, no thanks.
Hmm.
Like, I don't have any energy. I don't want to, just, ugh, I understand because I've been there multiple times. Um, that feeling of resistance will bottle up if you don't realize it's a gift and it's that opportunity to alchemize and showing you, like I said earlier, that glass ceiling. That resistance means you're up against that ceiling and you're about to break through. And really what it takes is a lot less. It's a lot simpler than you think, than you're making it. Um,
Hmm.
bringing you back to the content, I know you're just talking about like visual hooks, like using the pen or moving the camera or having a triple hook, all of these things that, yeah, are great and they do help. But like, what are you excited about creating? Like, yeah, maybe you're nervous, maybe you have a little resistance, but like, what lights you up? And you don't know until you get in and try
Hmm.
and you learn. And I know that. But like, what do you like? Like, what actually turns you on? So that resistance
Hmm.
is like, for me, is like, I have to do the thing versus I get to do the thing. And that's one of the core pillars in the portal membership. The first one is, how do we shift our energy from lack and that like overworked girl boss into being turned on? Because like we're creator beings, and our sexual life force energy is actually our creative energy. So like when we get excited and feel on purpose and passion, I think that's the same energy but different state of form, like we talked about with the problem, the solution. But the resistance and the turn on, I find in my own practice, I see a lot of women, that's like what the resistance is telling you. It's like you're just approaching it from like, you just need to alchemize a little bit, girl. You just need to like
Hmm.
turn into
Hmm.
like that feminine energy of like pleasure. Like you read the intro, pleasure, purpose. Hello,
Yeah.
you know?
It can be fun.
Yes, it can, and it should. It
It,
should.
yeah, this could actually be a good time.
Whoa, what a thought. Like, and I'm laughing and I'm saying it very sarcastically because I have to catch myself multiple times a day, because when you're doing the new things, sometimes it's like, oh, fun? Oh, yeah, this is supposed to be fun. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny too, okay, I have this question because I've had some success with putting content out there, and I've had a few things that took off. And it's so interesting. I'm curious how you work through this with your clients because you go from this fear of visibility, but then once you actually are very visible, it's a whole other experience. Because it's like, okay, now I'm not just scared of being seen, I'm actually being
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
by a lot of people, and people are commenting, and people, so it almost turns into this new thing where it's kind of like very exciting, but also a little unsettling too. So do you work with your clients? What does it look like once they actually have that
Oof.
visibility?
Yeah. I would say regardless, but especially that, like witnessing yourself. That whole everything
Hmm.
we talked about, just feeling what's coming up, but really seeing yourself is what really lays the foundations to no matter if 5 people see your post or 500,000. And realizing that you can have a very successful business and not quote unquote go viral.
Hmm.
And so I think being able to be with yourself, know who you are, what you're doing, your worth, that clarity aspect and the confidence. So even if a post does go viral or you blow up and you become a million plus follower influencer, whatever you want to call it, that you can hold that energy and that doesn't determine your own worth. It doesn't
Hmm.
deter you from your mission. I've had clients who've had very big followings, huge YouTube followings, and Instagram followings, but then were like consistently putting off starting a business or selling anything because they were like, I just need more followers. Even though in reality,
Hmm.
a 20,000 plus follower account on YouTube and over 10,000 followers on Instagram is way more than enough to have enough eyeballs on you to
Yeah.
start your business. So I see what you said, the viral aspect of, oh crap, I actually am being seen. But it's also the similar energy, I think, of I need more followers. I need to be more viral in order to be successful, in order to even sell something. Like I have to build. So I need to build, like, I love educational content. I do. Whether long form, short form, whatever. I've had a podcast for years and years. But that's not what sells people anymore. Like, what activates me to buy something is like really feeling seen, feeling triggered, like they're literally speaking to me. I'm not necessarily learning, but I'm seeing the proof that that person has had in their life or they've helped other people with, and not
Hmm.
necessarily teaching me how to do all of the things because there's so many. How many Instagram accounts do you follow? Like we talked about the visual hooks of like, here's 3 steps to make your Instagram reel go viral. Like honestly, that to me, like yes, I might save that in my saved post, but like that does not
Yeah.
activate me to actually buy. And like, if you just want to create an account to create an account, great. But what I want to help people do, women do, is to be able to turn that into a business.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying that I mean, I think it's great work that you're doing because you're helping women show up to be themselves and also like really present what they're doing, right? And create opportunities that allow them to have clients for them to help versus, I mean, again, educating is not bad, but it's a different end result, right? Typically.
Yeah, and you can have I mean, like, I still post educational content too, and, like, it's
Yeah.
fine, but, like, what excites you to create and follow that because it doesn't matter when I say or Chelsea says, like, you know the best path for you.
Hmm. Yeah, and there's so many different ways to do it. It's not, there isn't an exact formula. And we are all different people and we're also all attracting different clients. So you're going to have different people resonate with different things, but if you can tune into your own energy and attract what's meant for you, I think that's key.
And to oversimplify it, whatever's active in you, whatever's triggering you in your life, it's what's activating your dream clients that they're searching for. And it's not about being perfect. It's about showing that energy of how you are working through whatever's coming up. You don't have to share anything, but it's the energy of the alchemization that's what attracts your authenticness, those clients to you.
Hmm. Yeah, I use a lot of what's going on for me in my own content creation. And even the other day, I was like, even if this is just a little love letter to myself,
Oh, those are the best. Ugh.
that's kind of how it feels. It's like if I need to hear this right now, and maybe some other people need to hear this right now. So hopefully that's a good strategy. Well, we've talked about a lot. If there's one thing you could leave my listeners with, what would it be?
Your body is not in the way, it's leading the way. To summarize all of this content creation, your life, whatever, it's just listening to her. She's not punishing you, just showing you where to pivot, where to alchemize, and to feel good.
I love that. I think tapping into the body is it's the thing to do.
Yeah.
And I always ask this question, what is making you cozy this week?
I think, where I feel like it's a shifting of fall right now. So I'm really into hot drinks, hot teas, all the herbal teas, coffee, like I mentioned earlier. But just like nothing's better than like a warm cup of tea. I think of just cozying up and like this morning journaling with the hot cup of whatever. Uh, but that's the feeling I go for in my practice too. Whether I'm moving my body or meditating, that cozy feeling is like, yes, I can get it from drinking a cup of coffee, but like that's the goal at the end of the morning practice is to feel that way too, because that's abundance, feeling that way for me.
Hmm. How do you drink your coffee?
Oh, I go through phases. Right
Hmm.
now, I just been doing a little bit like of oat creamer and some little bit of brown sugar. Normally, I'm a maple syrup girl, but the brown sugar lately, not I haven't a few years ago I didn't eat sugar for years, but now I'm like just a little bit here and there is okay, like treat myself. So yeah, some type of oat creamer and a little brown sugar.
I am also a maple syrup girl.
Oh my gosh. And just like really
I love it.
sidetrack if you can make espresso at home, do like a few shots of espresso with maple syrup, get one of the mixers, froth it up, and then pour whatever milk or water in there. Thank me later. Because that maple syrup
Okay.
froths up that espresso. Like it's beyond anything you can imagine.
Okay, I might do that right after
Yeah.
this because I need another coffee. Okay, well, where can listeners find you and work with you and learn more about you?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm mostly on Instagram and on YouTube at Loren Cellentani, which I'm showing in the show notes. I know Chelsea, we kind of mentioned my podcast, The Sovereign Self Show, on all platforms, including YouTube. Chelsea will be there in a few months. She'll be a beautiful guest on the show. And if you're interested in learning more, I just opened up a new membership called the Portal Membership, where we go through how to actually work through all of this, the in detail process, but also it's the community of like minded women and a monthly coaching call to really work through some of those things that maybe we can't see for ourselves.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm interested. I think, and I think a lot of my listeners will be too. So, thank you so much for sharing everything you did today. I think it's so interesting, and I love the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such an honor to be here with you.
Of course. I will link all of Lauren's information in the show notes. I will put my stuff in there as usual, and I hope you all have a cozy week. All right. Bye.
Yay!